What I saw on the downtown Colorado Springs construction projects. I'm Charlie Adams. What's up, Colorado? This show is 100% satire. I don't represent anybody, and this show doesn't represent anybody. So, I got to spend a week down in Colorado Springs. It was really cool. Been to the city in a while. And I got to spend some time on a bunch of construction sites. And so I wanted to quickly go over a few things that I found. The electrical trade, the plumbing trade, and I guess kind of the HVAC trade. All three of those trades seem to be doing fairly well. A little short-handed, but they seem to be doing fairly well. Their competency is pretty good. They've got, like I said, they've got manpower. They don't have quite what they need, but they've got pretty decent manpower. And overall, those trades were doing well. The trades that I saw that were struggling, and it was consistent on every single project, was any of the carpentry trades. Any of the carpentry trades were struggling drastically. From concrete formwork to even rebar to framing, a lot of problems in wood framing especially, but metal stud framing as well. And here's what I found to be at least part of the cause. Electricians, plumbers, their average pay is pretty good. It's not quite as high as what I think it should be, but it's pretty good. And because of that, people tend to go into that trade, those trades. The other thing with those trades is they're structured. They've got a complete, thorough apprenticeship program. 4-year apprenticeship program. There's a lot of testing involved. There's a lot of licensing. You got to go through a lot of stuff to become a journeyman electrician or a journeyman plumber. However, in the carpentry trades, there's no structure whatsoever. And the average pay was about half of the electricians and plumbers. That means carpentry wages have degraded over time. They're not going up, they're going down. So to give you an idea, on one particular site, we had an electrical foreman. He was licensed, journeyman, he had passed all his tests, 4 years of school, the list goes on and on. Very professional, good quality electrician foreman. He's making $42 an hour plus a whole slew of benefits. And it's a whole slew of benefits, from healthcare to dental to eye to 401k to profit sharing. He gets all of them. About the only thing he didn't get was a company truck. But the way that company's set up, he doesn't really need a company truck. So he's doing quite well. Very comfortable, right? And he should be. That's a hard industry to be in. It's complicated. It's you got a lot of schooling to go through. So anyways, he's making $42 an hour plus benefits. Over here, we've got the foreman for the wood framing of this project. And by the way, this project is a very big project. We're not talking about some small little project. We're talking about an $88 million project. So anyways, the foreman for the wood framing crew can't speak any English, can't read any English, can't read architectural drawings, can't read structural drawings. He's a nice guy. If I were to guess, I would say he's somewhere around a second-year apprentice carpenter. He's a great guy, hardworking, all those things. Can't speak or read a single bit of English. Now remember, he's the foreman. That means he's got to communicate with everybody down the line of him, but he's also got to communicate with all the other trades. He's got to communicate with the general contractor, the superintendent, the assistant supers, the project managers, the project engineers. He's got to communicate with all those people. Well, there's a massive struggle in communication on that project. I mean, massive struggle. So anyways, he's making $21 an hour with zero benefits. Okay, so it's, I know this sounds crazy, but it's like exactly, or it's less than half the electrical foreman. Remember, the electrical foreman, he's making $42 an hour plus benefits, whereas wood framing foreman is making $21 an hour and no benefits. And we wonder why nobody wants to be a carpenter anymore. We wonder why we can't find good carpenters. We wonder why it's such a dying trade. We always hear about, oh, construction makes so much good, good money, and carpenters make big bucks. No, they don't. $21 an hour, and that's the guy that they could find. Keep in mind, he speaks no English. I don't have anything against the guy. He's a great guy, but he doesn't speak or read any English. He can't read the structural or architectural drawings for the building that he's trying to build. Okay, that's a pretty big deal. If you can't read drawings, you really have no business being a foreman. A second-year carpenter apprentice? Sure. But a foreman? No, not at all. So there's a massive struggle on that project, right? But it's not his fault. I mean, he got put into that position because nobody else was there. A massive shortage of good carpenters, especially carpenters that can be foreman, foreman material. We wonder why we can't find good carpenters. We wonder why it's a dying trade. Well, this is exactly why. They're getting paid roughly half, actually less than half, I'm sorry, actually quite a bit less than half of the electrical contractor. We wonder why it's a dying trade. It's got no regulation. If it's got no regulation, it opens up fraud for anybody that's willing to take it. The misclassification of employees as independent contractors is huge in the carpentry trades. It's devastating to the carpentry trades, but we just kind of let it keep on going. Oh, nothing to see here. Oh yeah, the general contractor, he made millions of dollars this past year, screwing over his carpenters, forcing them to have their own general liability insurance just to make a employee wage. We're perfectly willing to let that go. But this is the problem, Colorado. It doesn't just affect the carpenter's wages. It affects everybody's wages. Everybody's. Your wage, my wage, everybody's. Walgreens employees, Home Depot, engineers, architects, you name it. Hospital, healthcare workers, nurses, everybody. It affects everybody. Here's why. Throughout man's history, carpentry has been a staple of our civilization, right? We always look to it as a level, as a point, as a building block, as a industry standard. And it was an honorable trade. People really liked being in the carpentry industry. They got paid well, and they were coveted, or they were respected by the rest of society. A lot of those things have changed in past years, and I'd say it's been in the past 20 years. The past 20 years has been absolutely devastating. I'll give you an example. When I started construction as an apprentice carpenter, I was making $17 an hour. First year apprentice carpenters in Colorado Springs are at 17 or less than 17 an hour. It's a 27-year gap. So, hey, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and check out my next videos. In the meantime, can't forget this, have yourself a gorgeous Bluebird, Colorado day.